Now formatting text and paragraphs. You can change the font. So as you see here, we have two different fonts. And as you see, because we have two different fonts, the font and because they're of different sizes, the font size is also both empty. Now we're going to choose a font. We're going to choose, let's say, Tenorite. And as you see, it's now changed that. Now, if there isn't a font that you know of, but you know the rough style that you want, you can also just click on the drop down arrow and search for the font in your big drop down list that you have available. If you have Office 365, you'll have access to more fonts in here. If you have older Office versions, you may not have the more modern fonts such as Seaford, Tenorite, and so on. If you have customized fonts installed on your device, you will have them in your dropdown. For example, I have Ubuntu specially installed, so these fonts are available here for me to use in Word. You can also change the font size. You can click on the arrow and select a font size of your choice, or you can type it in yourself. So I'm selecting 9.5 as an example. Let's say I don't want this in black, but I want it in, let's say, green. You can click on the font color, which is here. Click on the drop down arrow next to the A with the red underline. The red underline is the color that it will use by default if you just click on that aspect. I'm going to go to green, and now you see I selected green. The red underline has now changed to green. If you want to make text bold, italicized, or underlined, you can use the bold, italics, and you can underline it as well. You can add a double underline, and you can add dotted underlines and more. So I'm just going to add in this thick underline. And if you want to clear any formatting that is on text, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to reselect it. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up to this A with the eraser. Now if we click it, you see it's now erased all the formatting that was put on the text that we had selected. You can also create bulleted lists. So select the text you want to be bulleted, and then you can just click on the bullet points, and as you see, it has created it into bullets for us. But you can also customize that bullet by choosing those which are already defined in the bullet library. Or if you want to define your own, you can do that as well by clicking Define New Bullet. And then you can choose a symbol. And let's say we want this one, for example. And I'm just going to click OK. You can now see that new symbol has been added for us, and that has been used in the document. You can also create it as a, or change it to a numbered list by just clicking on the numbered list, and as you see now it's converted it to 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now you can also align paragraphs by using the left, center, right, and justify, which we can all see in the paragraph section of the home part of the ribbon. So if I hit center, it centers the text. Right, it puts the text on the right. Justify puts it to the left, but as you can see, it's got all these finishing at the same time. You can also change the text to react like a table as well. So you can add a border, you can add shading as well. So I'm going to show you how you do that too. So if I want to add shading, let's say I want this light orange accent, you can now see it's added it in as if it was a table. Now I'm just going to reselect all of this, and we're going to add a border. Now we can play around with the border and add a bottom border, a top border, a left border, and so on. We can add all borders. We can also do just inside borders, so it splits each paragraph. You can also do inside vertical borders, which isn't applicable in this scenario. So I'm just going to do inside horizontal border. And you can also insert horizontal lines into your document too, which will separate contents as well. Now, clearing that formatting, I can also show you how you can change the line spacing between lines. And the way you can do that is by using this up and down arrow with a paragraph. And you can change how big the line spaces are and paragraph spaces are. And you can also add custom placements as well. So let's say we want it smaller. I'm just going to choose half. You see that's a little too small. You can also change it to whatever you want, 1.15 as an example. Now, to copy the formatting of text, what you can do is select the formatted text, which is your desired format. So say this text in Ubuntu thin. Click Format Painter, and then scroll to the text you would want to have that desired format, and then select it. And the font will be the font, the color scheme, the size will be applied to the new text you have selected. You can also indent your paragraphs and set custom indents. Now, to perform standard indentation like we did with the shortcuts earlier, select your text, and then if you can see there are two buttons, one with the left arrow and one with the right arrow. Now the one with the right arrow increases the indent, so if you click it, it indents to the right. Whilst if you click the one with the left arrow, it decreases the indent. Now you can also adjust the indent to whatever you want it to be by just clicking on the little pop-out icon in the bottom right of the paragraph area of the Home tab in the ribbon. And then you can see this section called indentation. And now you can say you want an indent of a centimeter. You can even get that mirrored, or you can just leave it as a centimeter like that, as the left or right, input whatever value, and as you see it's indented to the left by a centimeter. Now we can also do the same for the right hand side, let's say 1.5, and you see it's performed an indent on the right hand side. You can also enable the ruler in Word, which was available by default in previous versions. Just go to the View tab in your ribbon, click on it, and then look for Ruler, which is here under the Show section, and now you can see your ruler. You can also enable the grid lines if you prefer, but it may be of preference to have that unticked and disabled. You can also set a tab stop in Word. Now click anywhere in a paragraph where you want to add a tab stop to. So let's say I want it about here. Then click on the ruler, on a spot on the ruler. Now you see there's this little tab stop here. Now what you can do is go to your Home tab and then click on the little group dialog box icon for paragraph. And now where we're going to go is to tabs in the bottom left. I'm going to click on tabs. And now you can also enter in a position where you want your tab stop to be. So let's say 2. I want it to be lead number 2 and I want it centered. Click set and then click OK when you're finished adding your tab stops. Now there are 4 different types of tab stops. So if we go back into the paragraph grouping and then go to tabs in the bottom left, You can see there are 4 different alignment types alongside the 5th one of bar, but the first 4, left, center, right, and decimal, these will appear differently in your ruler. So the left one, if I click OK, you see it does a sort of L shaped for your tab stop on your ruler. Now if we go back to that, center, we saw it sort of had a upside down T, and that kind of signifies symmetry, so left and then right, so center. Right will have a reversed L, so you know that is the right aligned. And then the final one is decimal. Now, decimal aligned will align text and numbers by decimal point, and you can see there's an additional sort of dot above the centered type icon for the tab to stop. Now, if you want to remove a tab stop, that's really easy too. All you have to do is click and drag your tab stop off of the ruler, and then voila, it is disappeared.